We all know that replacing wheat pasta with zucchini noodles is an effortless way to get more vegetables in your diet and also to remove the harmful gluten. But I'm going to go a step further today and make you a raw vegan spaghetti bolognese. Now, spaghetti bolognese is a comfort food, but if you're avoiding meat, this is the way that you're going to do that. I'm relying on the same principles that you would use to make your traditional spaghetti bolognese. And actually, I'm going to use this as a perfect opportunity to use up all those leftover bits. Odds and ends, cut bits of tomato in the fridge. I've got leftover bits of zucchini from the spiralizer. I made a pizza earlier and I didn't quite use all the vegetables. I possibly even could throw in the beetroot slices and that's going to enrich the colour. So don't be too precious about this, but I will tell you the right quantities of ingredients that you need. So first off, let's get our pasta ready, because if we marinate it in olive oil and some salt, we're just going to soften it and make it a little bit more flavoursome. I love this German designed spiralizer. It's small, it does the job. It can be a little bit fiddly, but this is one of those jobs you can outsource to the younger members of your family. The more you get children involved in food, I think the better it is. They can become aware. And I love that saying that if you can't pluck it off a tree, dig it out of the garden, if it doesn't swim in the ocean or graze on the land, then it's not food. If your food comes with a long ingredients list, then you've got to ask yourself, what are you eating? The closer you eat back to nature, the better your body is going to be, and it's going to thank you. Right. I always use extra virgin olive oil. One of the drawbacks of extra virgin olive oil is that it has a low smoke point. That means it's not suitable for frying. No problem, we're not cooking with it. So the great uncooking is about uncooking the way you've previously done things, uncooking your thoughts, rethinking, redesigning. So let's just leave that till later. So just toss that in. And let's get on to the sauce. So you'll need a food processor, 1 cup of tomatoes. Now, I was asked earlier, what's the difference between the expensive tomatoes and the cheap tomatoes? Well, I think we should find out. So can you tell the difference, first of all? Can you tell which one is the vine-ripened tomato? Can you tell which one is the cheaper tomato? I can, but what if you were blindfolded? So since we're going to chop the tomatoes up anyway, now I know I'm not blindfolded, but I'm going to just see what the difference is. Okay, obviously they both taste like tomatoes, but I think the difference is that a vine-ripened tomato, it brings back childhood memories to me of going out into the garden and plucking something fresh. You can even tell by the smell of the stalks. If I was making a sandwich, absolutely, with the tomato shines, absolutely I would use these. But because we're blending them up, it's less important. If you want to choose a cheaper tomato, that's fine. All right, enough chit-chat. We're going to go with 1 cup of chopped up tomatoes. So I'm using all these odds and ends. Throw them into the food processor. This is making our sauce. You could use green onion, like a shallot, or you could use red onion, white onion, doesn't matter. Whatever you've got, put that into. I'm going to use the leftover bits of zucchini, half a celery stalk. So just think, if you were making a pasta-based sauce, what would you put in it? And that's what I'm putting in. This is going to be blended smoothly. Now, you don't need to add tomato paste, but since I had some left over from a pizza that I made earlier, I'm just going to put that in. There's no point wasting that. It's going to boost it a little bit as well. You don't need to put beetroot, but I've got that and I just want to see how that enhances the colour. So a little bit of beetroot doesn't really have much of a flavour. It's a great blood purifier, as well as being really juicy. A little bit of oregano, all mixed spice. Just a teaspoon is enough. I'm using some vegan stock powder. Now I know it says beef, but it says beef style. So this is suitable for vegans. You could use vegetable stock powder, that's fine. But remember, I'm trying to recreate that beautiful classic flavour of a beef spaghetti bolognese without the beef. Some garlic, 3 or 4 cloves. So it's making quite a lot of sauce mix, so I don't mind being a bit heavy-handed with the garlic. Now, actually, I did mention earlier Now, if you're concerned about having too much garlic and keeping it raw, there is another product that you could use which is called hing or asafoetida, and it's used as an Indian spice. Apparently it's a bit stinky raw, but you could use it in a cooked version. So just letting you know there's options, but I do prefer garlic because there's so many health benefits. It's antifungal, antimicrobial, plus the flavour is just delicious. Last but not least, 2 cups of sun-dried tomatoes, which is probably about 200 grams. Now these ones aren't soaked in oil. If you get the sun-dried tomatoes soaked in oil, that's fine, but rinse them off because they usually use a cheap quality oil, not olive oil. All right, so 2 cups, I'm just gonna throw the whole thing in. Actually, I'll get the mix churning first so there's some liquid to blend these up. Now these ones are a little bit moist. If you buy sun-dried tomatoes in their dried form that are really dry, then I recommend just soaking them in water for about 15 minutes. Wow, I just looked over and got really excited about the colour. See how red that is? That's because of that little bit of beetroot that I put in there. So that's actually the first time I've put the beetroot in. I think I might be doing that from now on. Okay. Now you also might need to add a little bit of water, but I'm just going to see how I go. Maybe just about 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup. But we'll add these first of all. No. Wow. So I just drizzled in a little bit of olive oil, 2 tablespoons for flavour. I'm going to add a sweetness, maybe just a teaspoon of rice malt syrup, a couple of teaspoons of rice malt syrup. Give it a scrape down. I'll blend it again, add a little bit more water, and then I'll taste test. So I haven't added any salt yet because remember I had the stock powder and by nature that's salty. This sauce would also be perfect to use on the base of a pizza instead of using shop-bought tomato paste. Water. Now for the taste test. Such a great colour, so you don't need any artificial colourings to make this look fabulous. Possibly it needs a little bit of salt, some salt and pepper, and some more olive oil. So let's add that now. So a little bit more olive oil, maybe 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, maybe about 30 mils, and salt. Why do I put so much? Because this pink salt isn't as concentrated. It doesn't have as salty a flavour as that refined iodized salt. Okay, the next thing to do is to pulse through the walnuts. I've had 2 cups of walnuts soaking, probably for about an hour now, maybe 2 hours. I'm going to drain them and rinse them. Now I'm adding the walnuts in at the end because I don't want them to be blended and pulverised. I still want them to be a little bit chunky. Our walnuts are going to mimic our mincemeat. Also add much needed protein and make this feel like a really chunky, robust sauce. I think that's pretty good. Just put in a little bit more water. Now, water is one of those things that it's just about consistency. It's not going to affect the flavour. That's it, we're done. So here is the zucchinis that we had marinating earlier. Might just add a little bit more in there. Another thing that people have as a staple in their diet or their repertoire of recipes at home, you probably had this growing up, as well as your spaghetti bolognese, you probably had lasagna. So I'm going to reserve some of this to make a lasagna in our next recipe. So we're just going to plate up our spaghetti bolognese. These are really long strands. I might trim them. You got any scissors? Kitchen scissors! It's actually quite fun, they're so long. Imagine slurping one of those long strands into your mouth. So see, because they've been marinating, they're much more tender. So it's more like munching on pasta than chewing on a crunchy vegetable. And then we'll nestle the sauce on top. And this is really rich. So I would serve this with a beautiful big green salad. That's it. Final touch would be a little drizzle of olive oil. And lastly, some fresh basil. Voila, lunch is served.